Hello, I'm Frank McSheen with Square Peg Consulting at the Whiteboard. I'm a supply chain cash guide, and these are the components of the business-to-business supply chain as I see it. And there are opportunities to generate more cash in every part of this process. Let me show you what I mean. Hello. Today, on our journey from changing from a cost focus to a cash generation focus, we're going to take a look at error proofing, which is a big part of quality, and it can apply in a number of areas. Buying from our suppliers, could be in the make process or in the move process, could also be in order processing in terms of making sure we don't make mistakes in the order processing. But it's all about eliminating the possibility of mistakes as opposed to trying to minimize mistakes. And we'll talk through a couple of examples of that. So it's the difference in the approach is the difference between quality control, which is trying to minimize errors, catch them before they go out of the factory or out of the distribution center and get to the customer, or dealing with problems that the customer has reported and going back and trying to root cause and trying to get those minimized. Whereas quality assurance is making sure that there is no opportunity for error. And there's a name for that in the Japanese manufacturing approach called Poka Yoke, error proof. Not foolproofing. They take offense at that idea that they would hire people who could be fools and make mistakes, but they believe that they have to take the leadership responsibility to eliminate the possibility for error. So this is proactive. This is after the fact. Kind of like in baseball, this is like a backstop where the pitch gets by us, but it doesn't go all the way to the street because we got a backstop there. Here, we're throwing perfect pitches every single time. Another part of this is process capability. So the process always operates within the guidelines that we need it to be, within the ranges that we need it to be in. These take some investment and time and effort to get to these points. This Poka Yoke will take some examination of your process, your make process, your move process to see where are the possibilities for errors. I worked with one of the big three auto manufacturers who identified the need for this. In one of their plants, about 20% of the cars coming off the assembly line every day went into what's called the hospital, where there's something wrong with that, not ready to send on to the dealers yet. And so that rework had to take place. And if you think about it, 20% of the cars going in there really was reducing their plant capacity by 20% every day. And so they identified that they wanted to pursue this approach with Poka Yoke, which is error proofing. And so we gathered a team of UAW and some supervisors and started examining all the errors that were happening to try and figure out what's the root cause, how do we eliminate the opportunity for error, not just minimize them, but take away the chance to even make an error. Example, in the days of keys and locks in the door, we discovered that you could put the locking mechanism in the right way or upside down. Easy to do, and if it was upside down and the operators on the line couldn't really tell the difference, so many things were coming out where the keys wouldn't work and the lock wouldn't work. Same thing happened in cable connections under the hood around the engine. There were cable connections that could be made correctly or incorrectly. And so we went right back to the suppliers to figure out how do we put in something, a device or an addition to that piece that can only be connected in the correct way. So we eliminate the opportunity for error. Some of them were very simple procedural changes. Some of them were medium, like working with the suppliers. Some of them were really engineering issues that had to go back to the company's engineering department for elimination on the next model. It was too late and too expensive really to go back and change it in the current model, but they they would rework that engineering design for the next model. And so things now started to flow better, and output went up, throughput went up for the plant, cash generated coming in. If they had taken the traditional quality control approach, they would have to be having inspectors, they'd have to be having people always checking the vehicles before it left, and any company would have to do this, where they'd have to have people checking at the end to try and prevent things from getting there. More cost, and you don't really address the root problem. So if you want more cash, look to see how to error-proof so that things can only be done the correct way. Filling out an order, we've all experienced those online forms where you have to fill out each box correctly in order to move to the next step. Looking at those kinds of things in your order processing can help prevent errors there as well. But the biggest payoff is going to be in the make and move and in increasing the throughput that goes along with error proofing and process assurance, process capability.